let's go to our reporter Natalie Malgas, who is standing by for us. Natalie, good afternoon to you. You've been speaking to various people today. What are they telling you? What have you seen so far?
Well, some of the big tenets to come out of what the unions want to hear from the Finance Minister, Stephen, includes no to privatising Eskom for a number of different reasons, and for government to stay true to its promise to increase the wages of public servants by as much as 10%. In fact, standing with me now, I have the first Deputy President of CUSATU, Mike Shigange. So that 10% figure, is it unrealistic to think that 10% will make it?
Well, it's not unrealistic, but what we're defending here is the spirit of collective bargaining. When you demand and the employer makes an offer, what is going to break the deadlock is for the two parties to engage. What we are fighting against here is a unilateralism that we have seen happening through government, particularly using this platform of the budget speech by the minister to unilaterally implement the 3% last year in the 2022 financial year. That's what we have rejected, because they know very well that they implemented something that workers in the public service have overwhelmingly rejected, number one. But number two, they know that they implemented that without a signed agreement. Whereas in 2020, they reneged from a 3-year signed agreement, which it was binding, their signatures of both parties, but they didn't implement it. In other words, they actually feel that there's no need for negotiation. So that's what we are also saying. If they don't have a 10%, they must come to the table. Whenever dispute, they must conciliate, they must settle the matter. We can meet each other halfway, but not to walk away from it. And then you expect that in the following year, we are going to come back again and negotiate, while we know that we have got no track record of honoring and respecting those very same negotiations.
What is your commitment? I understand there's the threat of a strike within 7 days. What is the threat on the table at the moment?
Well, remember that we got the certificate to strike at a conciliation last year in November, when actually the employer left us there, just like they left us in 2020 when we had the arbitration. They came here in Parliament to come and make pronouncement about matters of conditions of service of public servants who are not represented in Parliament. They are represented in the PSCBC. We chose not to exercise our right to strike, even though we have been having that certificate for such a long time, because we still hope that sanity will prevail. We still hope that engagements are going to take place with a commitment to break the deadlock. Unfortunately, when you have a non-resolution coming from a commissioner, the only thing you left is what we're going to do here post this protest today. We are going to be issuing a notice to strike for within 7 days. That threat or that promise is there. This is a warm-up. You remember on the 22nd of November last year, we did the same thing. So workers have been warming up for the past festive season. They are ready now to withdraw their labor from the public service.
One of the big points to come out of the budget speech many are anticipating has everything to do with electricity, the new energy, the electricity minister, and everything related to Eskom. What would you like to hear the minister say, and why do you believe privatization is such a bad idea?
It's a bad idea because just like it's happening in the entirety of the public service, that has got an unmotivated workforce, overburdened, overworked workforce, because the state has since stopped resourcing the public service. They have not been refurbishing the infrastructure. They are not filling the vacant pools to service this ever-growing population as it is now. The workers are burnt out. The workers are underpaid. It is clear that the government is now have more trust on the private, whereas the majority of the population, which they have got an obligation to service, they rely on the public service for services like health, like education, like home affairs, like justice, and so on and so on. Similarly with Eskom, it's unfathomable that you think that a rural person will afford an electricity that is supplied by a private entity. We think a state that is serious about building what they call a capable and developmental state can't outsource its own entities to private hands, which are more concentrated or more interested in profit making. Our people have no jobs. Our people are poor. Our people are underpaid. Where are they going to get money to buy electricity from a private for-profit entities?
Mike, when you hear government say they hear the cries of the people, the communities, the workers, and they are acutely aware of how tight and precarious the current financial situation is for everyone, is this the finance minister's opportunity to prove that government is serious about it?
It is definitely is. In fact, it is now or never, because these frustrations that the public servants and the community, of course, have been going through, it has been for a long time. Remember, we initially had no business marching to Parliament when we were dealing with issues of collective bargaining. We're doing this now because they have left the bargaining platform. We're doing this now because every time we go to a bargaining platform, they leave us. It's either they go to court or they come to Parliament. And we're not represented here. We're not even represented in court. So we are coming here because they've usurped the power, the right, and the principle of people who are sitting in the institution of social dialogue. That's why we're following them here. So it is for us an opportune time for them to reaffirm the centrality of the democracy, because the right for collective bargaining is one of the pillars of the democratization of the workplace. Is that which we stand for, all of us as South Africans. We can't be the leadership of the democratic state are the ones that are leading the charge to reverse the gain of the freedom, reverse the gain of the struggle and the gains of the democracy itself.
Mike, if I can just bring you back, lastly, a memorandum is expected to be handed over. Has someone from Treasury confirmed they will arrive here to receive it? What's expected to happen, and what does that memorandum look like?
Well, the memorandum looks like the things I was raising, all of them are in the memorandum, including saying to the employer, come back, at least speak to your workforce, upon which you rely to deliver the services that our people are expecting from you. But of course, we are expecting anything to happen. They might come, they might be too busy because they're busy there. There are very important people there in Parliament. We will accept that. We, the poor, will stay here. We will burn with the sun. We will make our point. And of course, we will go ahead and issue our certificate to strike.
Thank you very much for the first Deputy President of COSATU, Mike Chiganga there, Stephen, saying quite literally, this is government's opportunity to put their money where their mouth is.
Natalie Malgas, thank you very much indeed for that live report. More from her, more from, of course, the people who are holding these events around the city of Cape Town, around the Cape Town City Hall, as we go through the budget due to start at 2 o'clock. Still with Dr. Ntabisa.